Welcome back, boys and girls, to George and Willy's World. My name is Corlene Mapes, Mrs. Mapes, and we have Willy and George. George is back. He hasn't been here for a couple of shows. And Mrs. Krantz, I'm glad you're back. The last time we were together, Mrs. Krantz was in Australia, wasn't it?
Yes.
Wow. And we're so glad to have her back. So could you tell us a little bit about Australia and also the boys and girls at home? Did George go to Australia with you?
No, George didn't get to go to Australia. She stayed home with one of her friends who house it, sat and took her for walks and played with her. But Australia was amazing. It's filled with all kinds of interesting animals and beautiful birds. And we saw lots of kangaroos, boys and girls, and we saw koalas and wombats. It was just great.
Wow. I was telling the boys and girls at home that it's halfway around our continent of Earth.
Yes.
How many hours did it take to fly on an airplane?
It took 15 hours to fly on an airplane. It was a very, very long trip.
And what did you do when you were on that airplane?
I read lots of books and I watched so many movies because I couldn't fall asleep. So I just watched one movie after another and talked to my husband and then walked around a little bit on the plane and read some more. And finally we were there.
And we've had past shows about our families, and your son lives there. Just tell us a little bit about what he does. Just remind us, the boys and girls at home, what he does in Australia.
My son is a scientist, and he's something called a marine biologist. And he studies corals that are in the ocean. So he gets to scuba dive to do his research, and then he also works in a laboratory.
So he goes under the water.
Yes.
How exciting. Well, we're glad you're back, and I'm glad George is back. And when George and Willy got together, they were so excited to see each other, and they were playing and carrying on like they hadn't seen each other in a month, which it was. So we have two wonderful guests today, and they our guests, our special guests today, do something with music. I love music. I enjoy listening to all kinds of music. And we were talking, Mrs. Krantz and I were talking about this before the show started. What kind of music do you like to listen to?
I like classical music a lot, and I like folk music, and I just like almost any kind of music, actually.
Wow, I like all kinds of music, and when I'm in a special place, then I like the music that they play. So when I'm down south, I like listening to Zydeco and Cajun music, and when I'm home, I have friends who play folk and jazz, and so I like all, and when I'm in my classroom, I listen to classical music too. So I listen to all kinds of music. And our two special guests are Ms. Elenour McDonald. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. And Mr. Paul Kamm.
Hello, thanks for having us.
I'm glad you're both here.
Yeah,
Thank
we're glad
you.
to be here on George and Willy's World.
I get to sit in the rocker today, and you guys get to, and I get to sit and listen.
And we're in the hot seats.
Yes. And you play around Grass Valley and Nevada City, and we were talking a little bit before the show, and tell us how you got involved or interested. What gave you excitement or a spark to start in music? Because boys and girls at home would love to know.
Well, I became very interested in becoming a musician from listening to other musicians. It just seemed like something that would be so much fun to do, and I had to go and find out what it was all about. So that's how I got interested in becoming a musician.
So how old do you think you were?
I started singing in church choir when I was 6. And then I found...
Paul traveled all around the world in the church choir.
I did.
Wow.
And then I found a guitar when I was 16. So I started playing guitar and writing my own music when I was about 16.
That's great. Wonderful. And how did you get started or interested?
I I had a nanny when I was very young who sang gospel music all day long through the house. And that was probably my first introduction to beautiful singing. And then as I grew older, I, like Paul, listened to a lot of other musicians and started singing along with the records and realized I liked to sing. And eventually found Paul, and our voices just were a perfect match for one another. And it's been 25 years of our singing together
Really?
now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where do you play? And we were talking, sometimes you go to other cities and you go to other places that aren't just right here.
No.
Sometimes we go far away. We've been to New York City to play music, and that is on the other side of our country. And we've been to Ireland to play music, which is it's across the Atlantic Ocean. That's very far away. And we've been to Greece to play music.
Wow.
Which is even further still. So we play in Nevada City and Grass Valley, but we also play in other parts of the world, which enables us to hear other kinds of music. And it's delightful.
Wow. I'm trying to get George. Come here, George. Here he is. She is.
It's her show.
her
She can do what
show.
she wants.
How much do you have to practice? Because sometimes the boys and girls at home see how easy it is for you to play and sing, and it didn't start that way, did it? So how much do you practice?
Well, you can choose to practice however little or much you like, but I think the more you practice, the better you get. So
We practice tons. Tons and tons.
Lots and
Lots
lots,
and lots.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I play the guitar in my classroom, but I wouldn't even say I could play the guitar
But you
around
do.
musicians, but it takes a lot of practice. I know I could get better if I practiced more.
Absolutely, as with anything.
Yes.
Anything we decide to do, we can get better and better if we practice.
And I always want to take one more class and get better at it, but something always seems to involve my time with teaching, so I can't wait to hear you.
Well, you practice teaching every day.
Yeah,
Yes.
that I do practice.
Yes. And that takes a lot of practice.
And you have 2 stories you're going to be reading for us.
We do.
And who is going to go first?
I think I'm going to read first.
Okay. And what's your story called?
My story is called My Family Plays Music.
Okay, boys and girls at home, are you ready to listen to our stories? George? Now, Willie, are you ready to listen? Mrs. Crane?
I'm ready.
Okay, and we're ready to hear.
Let's start.
Good.
My Family Plays Music by Judy Cox, illustrated by Elbright Brown. This is my family. We all love music. This is my mom. She plays fiddle in a country and western band. She plays in honky-tonks and sings sad songs about broken hearts while people dance real slow. When I play with her, I play the tambourine. This is my dad. He plays cello in a string quartet. He sits on stage at Symphony Hall in a black tailcoat and a white bow tie. When I play with him, I play the triangle. This is my sister Emily. She plays clarinet in the marching band. We cheer and wave as she struts down Main Street in the big parade. When I play with her, I play the cymbals. This is my brother Paul. He plays lead guitar in a rock and roll band. He wiggles and he spins and he shakes when he plays for the dance in the high school gym. When I play with him, I play the cowbell. This is my Aunt Saffron. She plays vibes in a jazz combo. She plays soft, cool sounds at the Blue Note Club. Her hands dance the mallets up and down the bars. Pung, pong, ping. When I play with her, I play the woodblock. This is my Uncle Woody. He plays saxophone in a big band. He blows swing tunes at the Paragon Ballroom while dancers glide beneath the flashing mirror ball. When I play with him, I play the maracas. This is my grandma. She plays banjo in a bluegrass band. She picks mountain melodies for folks who sit on folding chairs and tap their toes to the spunky beat. When I play with her, I play the jug. This is my grandpa. He plays tuba in a polka band. He dresses in lederhosen and a hat with a feather. His cheeks puff out round and red as he blows oompa, oompa. When I play with him, I play rhythm sticks. This is my great-grandmother. She plays the pipe organ in St. Peter's Cathedral. On Sunday mornings, we sit straight and still as she pumps out music that swells like waves. When I play with her, I play the handbell. This is my cousin Dean. He plays bongos at the Full Ear Cafe. He slips his drums between his knees and raps and pats them with his hands, keeping the beat while people recite poems that don't rhyme. When I play with him, I play wind chimes. This is my niece, Sadie. She plays pots and pans, drumming on them with a wooden spoon. She plays loud. When I play with her, I play the big soup kettle. This is me. I play tambourine, triangle, cymbals, cowbell, woodblock, maracas, rhythm sticks, handbell, wind chimes, and soup kettle. Daddy says I'm a percussionist. This is my family. We all love different kinds of music, but we all love one another. And when we get together, we celebrate.
Thank you. That was great.
Thank
you.
you.
Have such a nice reading voice.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes. And what is your story called?
My story is called Mole Music, and it's written and illustrated by David McPhail. Mole Music. Mole lived all alone underground. He spent his days digging tunnels. At night, he ate his supper in front of the TV and then went to bed. Mole liked his life, but lately he had begun to feel there was something missing. One night on the television, a man played the violin. He made the most beautiful music Mole had ever heard. I want to make beautiful music too, Mole said to himself. So the next day, he sent away for a violin of his own. Every day, Mole checked his mailbox. No violin. Finally, after nearly 3 weeks, it arrived. Mole was so excited. He picked up the violin and drew the bow across the strings, but instead of beautiful music, all he made was a horrible screeching sound. Mole tried again. The violin still screeched, but not quite so horribly. Mole kept at it. After about a week, he could play 1 note, then 2. And before a month went by, he could play an entire scale. Mole continued to practice. He learned to put the notes together in a simple song. Years went by. Mole got better and better. He was happier than he'd ever been. During the day, as he dug tunnels, Mole hummed the music he would play at night. Now, Mole played even better than the man he'd seen on TV so long ago. Sometimes he wondered what it would be like to play his music for people. He imagined himself playing before a huge audience. He imagined that he played for presidents and queens. He even imagined that his music would reach into people's hearts and melt away their anger and sadness. Why, maybe his music could even change the world. Mole laughed at himself. How silly I am, he thought, imagining that my music could do all that when no one has ever even heard it. Mole played one more song, then put down his violin and went to sleep, and dreamed beautiful, peaceful dreams.
That's a story about practicing.
That is a story about practicing and getting better and better.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful.
And changing people's lives.
And one person can change
Yes.
a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I am ready to listen, and boys and girls at home would like to. You have a song you were going to sing. Did you?
It's called Like Water. Like a mountain stream where the air is thin and the clouds are dancing on your cheek. Like a sudden rain on a Texas night when you catch your breath and can't speak. You are like water to me when the ground is bare and dry. When the rains come, it's easy to see that you are like water to me. Like the bright headlight on a long freight train in the darkest night all alone. Like some battered ship on a turbulent sea when that far-off lighthouse shone. You are like sunlight to me when the darkness comes by and by. When dawn breaks, it's easy to see that you are like sunlight to me. Like skating on a frozen stream, like dancing wild and free. Like every song that's easy to sing, you are like water to me. like a mountain stream where the air is thin and the clouds are dancing on your cheek, like a sudden rain on a Texas night when you catch your breath and can't speak, like a mountain stream where the air is thin and the clouds are dancing on your cheek, like a sudden rain on a Texas night. That you are like water to me.
Oh, that was so good. I love that. You have practiced a
Once
long
or
time.
twice.
Yeah,
Once
a few
or twice.
times.
Boys and girls, you're going to have to practice to sound like that.
But practice is fun.
We practice with
It's
the
really
dogs.
fun. We do.
They sing.
Do they?
They do.
Yes.
We're learning to speak the language Greek too right now, and we practice with our dogs. Sometimes they're the only ones that we can practice with.
Do they
They're-
understand?
They totally understand.
good.
I'm sure that these two can relate.
I'm sure. Well, please stay seated because I have a couple activities that I want to show the boys and girls and parents at home that they can make musical instruments.
We'd
Oh,
love to
great.
watch.
Yeah.
So I am going to move. And I thought I was playing here, but I'm stuck there. Well, boys and girls at home, we have a couple of activities, and one of them are these. I think they're so cute. They're
Maracas.
yes, thank you. And all they are made of is a pencil. If you have a pencil that you can put on the end, and there are some. All of these are plastic spice containers, and they take off the label, and then the label, once it's off, you have a plastic empty
And we can recycle
container
that label too.
with, yes, in the paper, with a lid. And then what you would do is on this one we have decorated lace that we have material that we've glued on, and lots of different beads, glue stick. You can use Elmer's glue if you'd like, but it's going to take longer to dry. And so instead, if you can see that, that is hot glue gun. And the only person that can use a hot glue gun is an adult. And boys and girls at home, you cannot use a hot glue gun without an adult by. So then what we've done is on the lid, we have glued, hot glue gun, the pencil, and we've decorated the outsides. You can use stickers and beads and ribbons, all kinds of things. And then inside you can put rice or beads, beans or peas, dried vegetables that sometimes we'll make soup out of, but they also make very good sounding, rice does. And put them in, close them up, and if you don't have a pencil and you don't have a glue gun, you can still make one. I'm just going to put these in here. You can still make one without the pencil and decorate it. So you may not have a hot glue gun at home, but you can still make a sound that comes out. Another thing that you can do is they're not cymbals, little castanets, yes, castanets, or miniature cymbals, and all they are the lids and ribbon with hot glue gun. Like I said, you can also use tacky glue or Elmer's glue and decorate them up, and you can make little cymbals. And the last one, little drum, it's a coffee can or any kind of little can, oats, hot oatmeal oats, and put some felt around it glue it on. This would be okay with the tacky glue or Elmer's, and decorate it, and a little pocket for the drumsticks. So you can just make a sound, and you could actually have a 3-part band with the drum, castanets, and the maracas. Okay. Forgot that. Thank you. I need you here to help my speech. So boys and girls, activities you can make at home. Hopefully you'll try them so you can make your own instruments. In my classroom every year I try and have bands, and we make their own instruments, and we get together with friends, and then we can make a band. So I guess you've got those. And which would you like?
I'll take the castanets.
Okay, I'll play the
And
drum.
I'll
need the
just
big
clap.
drum.
Okay.
Oh, I've got this one here. So do you think we can make some?
Yeah.
Ready? Let's. At home, remember, don't forget to write us. If you liked any of the shows or today's show, please write us at 235 South Auburn Street. Address it to First 5. And if we get any letters, we'll read them on the air and say your name. You can write them to George and Willie, or to Ms. McDonald, or Mr. Kamm. So please, or to Mrs. Krantz. So please write us a letter so we can read it on there. Until next time, listen to lots of stories, do your job, and have fun playing, but also practice, practice, practice. Anything you like to do, ride a bike, practice. And I think that's it. So maybe we can go out and bye until next time.
Thank you. Thanks, George and Willie.
Yes.